I do want to apologize. My voice, I've been on the phone. My voice is leaving us. I'm going to do the best I can. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. And don't forget to ring the notification bell. You do not know. I do not know. The little general does not know. Nobody knows when we're going to come on live next. It could be 5 minutes after this live show. Buckle up, brace for impact. Make sure you ring that notification bell. If you want to support this independent, national college football's rebel outpost with a donation to help us keep the lights on and grow the channel, just hit that $sign where you make a comment and I will get you super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome. Don't be afraid. Welcome everybody in to the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. I don't know. Is there a chance that the fat guy from Minnesota can be too dramatic about what's going on today? Is there a chance that I could be so dramatic, too dramatic, in describing what's going on today in college football? I don't think there is a chance. I don't even think I can be too over dramatic on what is going on. Do you agree with me? PATC Einsteins. Do you think I can actually be too over dramatic today? Am I going to be accused of that once again? You know what? You can say I'm Greg the Cooler. You can say I'm the original Minnesota moron. You can say I'm the fat guy from Minnesota. You can say I know where every refrigerator is in every place I walk into, even though I'm never the brightest bulb in the refrigerator. You can accuse me of gopher propaganda. You can say Greg the Grifter. You can call me whatever you want to call me. But there is no way on God's green earth you can accuse me of being over dramatic on what is going on today in college football. What's out in public is big enough. But what's the chatter behind the curtain? There are layers to this. At some point today, I'm going to try to talk about a certain relationship inside the Big 12 that is not a good one, that is doing this situation no favors. But we'll talk about that later. Yesterday's live show. The title screen says, Texas Tech must save itself. And that was the title of the live program. The title of the live program today, Big 12 must save itself. Cody Campbell's not backing down. Kirby Holcutt, we're going to read his, we'll go read his statement later on in the show. He's not, the athletic director, Cody Campbell, the Red Raiders are not backing down. They're going to play Brennan Sorsby in Game 3. So far, they're not backing down. In fact, they just, Ross Dillinger's article, the Red Raiders have put some threats out there. They're going to be in a legal battle with the Big 12 if they come after us. The Big 12 must save itself. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? First of all, let's be clear about something. Greg. You don't know what's going on inside the Big 12. The Big 12 schools are fully aligned. The 15 Big 12 schools are fully aligned. They are. Come on. They are. Kansas State, Oklahoma State, all of them. Iowa State, UCF, Houston. Of course they are. Of course. You cannot have a starting quarterback who bet on football over 40 times, play in a Big 12 conference game. That can't happen. It can't. It can't. But yet, it might. It looks like it is. Because the Texas Tech Red Raiders are not going to save themselves. So now the Big 12 has to save themselves. Now you might ask, Greg, what are you talking about? What are you This is not a Big 12 problem. This is not a Big 12 problem. We didn't do anything wrong. We are going to go through Brandon Marcello's article of today, CBS Sports. In that article, Mr. Marcello doesn't know me from a hole in the wall. I've never talked to him. But I got to tell you, Brandon Marcello's article is verbatim the chatter behind the curtain. On the danger that the Big 12 is in right now. And they're going to act. They got to act on this. Even if the Red Raiders, even if Texas Tech takes them to court and the Big 12 fails in the court case, they still have to act. Because there are other conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten, fairly or not, and you can make a great case, it's completely unfair for the Big Ten and the SEC to be even contemplating what they're contemplating. But they are contemplating that they're going to treat the Big 12 as poison. There is some crazy stuff going on. Crazy discussions going on. And I do believe, I've been talking all day. You can ask the little general. You can ask the little general. I've been on the phone. The little general is making some beautiful food right now, but I can't even have any because I'm too busy with this show. And after this show, that's the sacrifice that I'm making today. The fat guy from Minnesota. The Big 12 knows. They know that they cannot be dragged through all. They cannot. There's got to be a separation. And I'm not talking about expulsion. But they have to lay down their cards and say, we cannot abide by this. Stop Texas Tech from playoffs. Stop the Red Raiders from playing in the Big 12 conference game if Sorsby plays a football game. Texas Tech would not be allowed to have that automatic qualifier to be a Big 12 champion, because this year, whoever is the Big 12 champion, it does not matter if they're 8-5 overall, 7-6 overall. The Big 12 champion is going to get a berth in the playoffs. Texas Tech should not allow to be in the playoffs, should not allow to be in the Big 12 championship game. And then the Big 12 will let the College Football Playoff LLC decide what to do if the Red Raiders are a possible candidate for an at-large bid. The Big 12 must use League Bylaw 3.6, allowing conference autonomy for discipline. And one of those things is taking away Texas Tech ability to play in the Big 12 championship game. Does that sound too ruthless to you? Do you think that's an overreaction by the Big 12? Well, I think you should probably wait on that until we go through the Marcello article and what Ross Dellinger has just reported. Because I got to tell you, Big 12, UCF, West Virginia, Houston, Baylor, TCU, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Iowa State, Utah, Arizona State, Colorado. The Red Raiders are going to be coming after you. They're not on the back foot. They're on the front foot. And as much as you want to consider the Southeastern Conference and the Big Ten being unfair, as much as you want to consider the P2 as the evil empires, as much as you want to say this is all completely unfair, and a lot of what you think is correct, but it doesn't matter. This is the worst time for this to happen for everybody involved. The Big Ten is, and I've been saying this for months, they are seriously contemplating in the Southeastern Conference how to do a breakaway, how to play each other more often. And I've said this over and over again, I think in the long run that's going to hurt the Big Ten and the SEC, but it's going to hurt the Big 12 and the ACC more. That's the problem with this. And the Big 12, I think, knows. And now we've got this situation, which is only given the SEC and the Big Ten more fuel to break away. They're not even play the Big 12 anymore in football. That is where we're at. I mean, everything that is going on is giving the breakaway fanatics, the breakaway fanatic faction, more and more fuel. We're not taking the fuel away. We're giving them more. We're driving trucks. We're giving them all the fuel. Cody Campbell is giving them everything they've ever wanted in this argument. Inside the Southeastern Conference, there are people who want to have a breakaway now. Cody Campbell saying, there you go. There's your argument. Look, yesterday was about Texas Tech. I argued Texas Tech, you got to be the ones that do it. You cannot wait until somebody saves you. The Big 12 or the court, whatever, do it yourself. Back away, and eventually everything's going to be overcome. Tony Petitti leveled punishment on Michigan. Michigan got all upset, and at the end of the day, Michigan did not appeal. They did not even appeal their punishment. They knew all the Big Ten schools were pissed. They won their championship. The difference between that and Texas Tech, the biggest difference is the horse was already out of the barn for most of it. In this Texas Tech situation with Sorsby, we're watching it unfold before us. Like, if Sorsby actually plays in Game 3, the Big 12 needs to act. And I think they will. They have to. They have no other choice. I do not know what's going to happen to the relationship between Texas Tech and the Big 12. I got a feeling that the Red Raiders are not going to back away from anything. And it's not just about Cody Campbell. And I'm going to protect myself here at Peek Around the Corner. But I do know 100% factually, allegedly. No, you know what? Forget the allegedly. Forget the allegedly. I know 100% that the relationship between the athletic director of Texas Tech and the Big 12, before all this even happened, before Cody Campbell even got into the picture, I know the athletic director of Texas Tech and the Big 12 has not been good. So, again, as I said at the beginning of this program, there is a lot of layers to all this that is not even out in public. This is bad. This is a fracture. Just like I called the Big Ten fracture, I did not shy away from that. I've talked about a couple of different Big Ten fractures that have happened. This is a Big 12 fracture. One school versus 15. And that one school shows no signs of backing down. The Big 12 cannot back down. Even if you wanted to consider it, even if you thought this was not a battle worth fighting within the Big 12, you cannot back down because the SEC and the Big 10 are ready to bolt. And their options of bolting, how they're going to do it, has only increased to the extreme because of Cody Campbell. Cody Campbell, who's trying to save college sports, is using a blowtorch to separate his university from the Big 12, and the Big 12 cannot let it affect themselves in their relationship with the Big 10 and the SEC. Let's do the roll call here. We have got a lot to talk about today. I am serious. This show is loaded, and there is no way that I can over-dramatize what is going on. First of all, we got a very kind super chat from Heartbreak 25. We keep calling out Cody Campbell, but what about Coach McGuire? What an example he's setting for players who want to bend and break the rules to win. I mean, that's a good point, but you know, who's getting the players from McGuire is Cody Campbell. Yeah, they're gonna swim together. They're gonna sink together, but they are together. But you are correct, Heartbreak 25. You are correct. Thank you for the $5 holler. I appreciate your generosity. We got Mohr After Dark. Mr. Buckeye. Greg's so cold. When he gets a traffic citation, it instantly becomes a cold case file. Unbelievable. Thank you for the $5 holler, Mohr. I do appreciate it. Once again, you've got very little time to get in your cold elbows thrown at me, because soon enough, all your jokes are going to have to go to Greg is so hot. Thank you, Mohr. I very much appreciate it. We've got a super chat from Mama Duck, Clemson Tiger. Mama Duck, I was playing fetch with my Boston and he couldn't find the ball. I told him he was Greg the Gold Cold.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Mama Duck, Clemson Tiger, you are being influenced by that evil Buckeye. Don't ever be influenced by an evil Buckeye, all right? Don't listen to Mohr. Don't listen to these clowns. Greg the Cold, Greg the Cooler no longer exist. No longer exist. Thank you for the $5 holler. Mama Duck, I appreciate it. The Big 12, Evil Badger. Evil Badger, super chat. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it. Big 12 should expel Texas Tech from the conference if Sorsby plays a down. Wow, $5 holler, Eva Badger. I don't think that's going to be the first remedy, or the second, or the third, or the fourth. Eventually that might happen, but I don't think that's what's going to happen right away. I don't think that's going to be the attempt. I do think there's going to be another attempt, a couple of them in there, before we ever get to that level. But thank you, Evil Badger. Thank you for the $5 holler. Very much appreciate it. We've got Burnt Orange. The man, the myth, the legend, PATC original, Ghost of Replica. Texas Tech said they'll sue if any sanctions are levied against them, not just from the Big 12, but from other conferences. They're weaponizing the state courts. That's a good way of putting it. They're weaponizing their state courts. We are going to go through that, a Ross Dillinger article. Texas Tech, they're being proactive. Now, Michigan said they were going to do a bunch of stuff, but they completely backed down. There was a lot of evidence that Tony Petitti had, the Big Ten, the NCAA, on the in-person scouting scandal. There's a lot of evidence in this as well. Now, conferences, again, the courts do give conferences the ability to conduct their business. The bylaws of the Big Ten, if you have a supermajority, you can levy sanctions against the school. Part of it is sportsmanship. Again, how do you rank the fear of the Big 12? The fear of Texas Tech taking the Big 12 to courts? Is that higher or lower than the fear that the Big 12 has with the Big 10 and SEC looking at the Big 12 going, what are your actions or non-actions in this case? Thank you, Ghost to Replica. Thank you for the $5 holler. I very much appreciate it, sir. But you are correct. The Red Raiders are being proactive, at least in their comments. Marcus Williams. $2 holler. Well, the mafia rubbing its hands, ready to pounce. And even if they're not rubbing their hands, ready to pounce, there's going to be a lot of people watching those football games, believing that they're ready, rubbing their hands and ready to pounce. Yeah. Very true, Mr. Williams. Thank you for the $2 holler. I appreciate it. We got Troy, $5 holler, Mr. Chicago Cubs. Let's play 2. Ernie Banks. Greg is so cold, people in his office gather around him to gossip. Thank you, Troy. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you, Marcus. Ghoster, Replica, Eva Badger, Mama Duck, Mo and After Dark. Appreciate you, Super Chats. Heartbreak 25 for starting us off today. I do appreciate it very much. Again, your phone calls later on in the program, and you give us a call. The floor is yours. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Super Chats throughout this live show, whatever you want to talk about in Super Chat, even if you're giving an elbow to Greg the Gold, we will talk about it. And the other comments we will pick and choose depending on how connected it is to the story that we're talking about. I do want to say thank you to everybody who's come on in. Adam, Corey Miner, appreciate it. There's a whole lot of emotionalism here with little facts. Ryan Brooks is in the house. Misanthropist Jesus is here. MGC Sooner. The Pirate Gator Maynard is in the house. Corey Miner, the architect. Preston from Greensboro, the incredible. Edible. Bill G, Oklahoma State Cowboy. Marcus Williams. MBM is in the house. Yeah, Bill G is correct on that. Bill G is correct on that. Across the Green is in the house. Antoine Johnson is here. What is going on with my... Rock and Rant. Thanks for coming on in, Rock and Rant, Mr. Hurricane. For whatever reason, my chat room, once again, doesn't seem to be working. Nick Kelso, Arkansas Razorback, Old Dad, Utah, Rich Austin is in the house. Thanks for coming on in. All right. We've got a very kind super chat from the Pirate Gator, Mr. Maynard, $5 holla. Let's go. Texas Tech can't prevent the rest of the Big 12's freedom of association or sovereignty. They clearly don't want to be associated with Texas Tech. I don't know if we've gone to that extreme yet. Big 12 hasn't taken any action yet. The Red Raiders haven't taken any action against the Big 12, although they've sort of threatened it already, because some of the Big 12 schools leaders have said in open, I don't even want to play them. We should boycott them. And the Red Raiders are saying that they might take those schools to courts. Look, we used to call this when we were playing, when me and my guys, the Smacks, back in northern Minneapolis was Robbinsdale, when we used to play poker and play some cards, and somebody was losing hand after hand after hand after hand, and they started chasing their money, we would declare that guy is on full tilt. He's full tilt. I think the Red Raiders are on full tilt. They're just going to keep pushing their chips in the middle of the table. They're not going to back down. They got a billionaire who's the chairman of the board, who's backing some national effort to do something. They're not going to back down. They are full tilt. Thank you, Kenneth Maynard. Thank you for the $5 hotter. Very much appreciated, sir. Thank you so very much. Corey Miner. Here's what's going to happen. No one in the Big 12 will boycott. Sorsby will play, and Tech will not care what other thinks. All right. D5 Terps, Jimmy Austin. Thank you, guys. Appreciate all you coming on in. Cal Bears, Braylon Knowles. Okay. Where do we begin? Where do we begin? We're not even going to begin with our spotlight. We're going to save that either late in the program or we're going to push it off until tomorrow. But we are ready to do the Missouri Tigers spotlight, the CFP PATC spotlight on the Missouri Tigers, talking about quarterback Austin Simmons, running back Ahmad Hardy. Again, he got a gunshot wound in the thigh. Backup quarterback Jamal Roberts, tight end Brett Norfleet, Nicholas Rodriguez, the linebacker. We'll talk about the Missouri football schedule. But again, we just don't have the time to do that right now. We got to talk about it here. This, and I'm telling you, this comment, this article is the chatter behind the curtain. This represents it to a T. You can disagree with it. You can agree with it. You can agree with parts of it. You can disagree with parts of it. But this is what is being said. This is what is being said. The chatter behind the curtain. Texas Tech decision on Brendan Sorsby threatens to throw a live grenade into college football powder keg. The Big 12 has gone radio silent. A meeting among the athletic directors on Tuesday settled one thing only. Texas Tech believes Brendan Sorsby should play this season. As Commissioner Brett Yormark calculates his next move and orders the school leaders to remain silent, the pressure on Texas Tech is immense. The fallout could trigger a cascade of radical moves across college athletics. This is not just a hand grenade inside the Big 12 tent. This is a bomb going off outside the Big 12 tent. And that's what the Big 12 is most concerned with. And I don't quite think Cody Campbell has got that part figured out. The Big 12 athletic directors have drawn a line in the sand, in West Texas sand. The Red Raiders must pull their support of Sorsby. In other words, don't play him. Even after a Lubbock judge granted him a temporary injunction against the NCAA to play this season, despite his admission that he bet on sports dozens of times, the Big 12, theoretically, the Big 12 can force Tech's hands with threats. Though no one is seriously considered invoking a bylaw to kick Tech out of the league, and I believe that to be true. You definitely do not start there. And Yormark will consider his options after speaking to the league's presidents Thursday, which is tomorrow. But the onus is on Tech. And as we said yesterday, nothing is stopping the Red Raiders from ending this debacle by showing Sorsby the door. In other words, you take care of Sorsby, you give him all the support he needs, but you cannot play him on the football field. The outrage among coaches, athletic directors, and presidents is practically universal. Integrity is paramount to college athletics. And if Texas Tech and the Big 12 turn a blind eye to more obligation, you can bet seismic changes within and outside the NCAA model are coming. And that's what we've been saying here. The chatter is heavy. The most radical silos are now in play. Let me repeat. The most radical silos, the one that we didn't think we'd jump into right away, those options are now in play. Congratulations to Mr. Cody Campbell. And this, I want the Big 12 people to understand. It's not really a shot at the Big 12. But Brandon Marcello says it perfectly here. It is blunt, but it is accurate. In the Big 12 is not equipped to handle those changes. The Big 12 does not want to see a radicalized silo from the SEC and the Big 10. That's the last thing that the Big 12 wants. Georgia and Nebraska stood tall Monday and said they will no longer schedule Texas Tech, but it's only a warning shot, if not an empty threat. But what those proclamations reveal is a growing willingness among college leaders to make radical decisions as the house of the NCAA burns to the ground. And if the Big 12 and Texas Tech are not careful, they might get burned too. This is why the title of our show is Big 12 Must Save Itself. Yesterday it was Texas Tech must save itself. But today it is the Big 12. Back to the article, 247 CBS Sports, Brandon Marcello. Leaders are preparing for war if Tech plays Sorsby this season. The ideas pitched to me over the last 2 days have left my jaw on the floor. Blue sky thinking? Nah. These feel like more like nuclear winter. The sport has become hyperbolic over the last 6 years, as administrators and the media have labeled nearly every court ruling against the NCAA an inflection point. This time, the fallout feels different. It feels real. CBS Sport reported in May that the Big Ten and the SEC are exploring self-governance models. It's not a clean breakaway from the NCAA, as it primarily focuses on streamlining an already defined system, but it could pave the way for a deeper competitive imbalance if the Big 12 pours fuel on the fire. What happens if the Big Ten raises the revenue sharing cap within the House settlement terms? The gap between the Big Ten programs and the Big 12 programs, already more than $40 million in average revenue, would become insurmountable. Forget about the Big Ten and the SEC forming a super league. If the Big 12 opts to ignore, and they won't, I believe they won't. You let me know what you think the Big 12 is going to do or not do with Texas Tech. But Marcello is just bringing up the possibility. If the Big 12 opts to ignore the foundational rules of the NCAA, what's stopping the other conferences from alienating the Big 12? How would the Big 12 and the ACC survive as power players if the Big Ten and the SEC move to conference-only football schedules? No more Big 12 versus SEC Big Ten games. Their media packages would dwarf anything that the Big 12 and the ACC hold, leaving both leagues to scrounge for scraps with a group of 6 until they met the Power 2 in the CFP. You want a 2014 playoff? Why would the Big Ten need it if and the SEC send 12 teams to the postseason on their own terms? These are hypotheticals. However, these are hypotheticals, but ones brought up in conversation over the last 2 days. As athletic directors consider the ramifications of allowing a confessed gambler, one who bet on games involving his own team on the field, by the way, one who bet the under total for Indiana more than once. Back to the article. If Texas Tech refuses to see the world in black and white, there will be an escalation in boardrooms and more radical thinking from the people who are usually the last ones to reach for a grenade. More in the radicals. The radicals are taking over the Big Ten and the SEC right now. They have the biggest voices. They have the most influence because what is going on with Cody Campbell and the Red Raiders. Why is this different? Here is an example. Leaders denounce the decisions, but they don't threaten to remove Ole Miss from the schedule because quarterback Trinidad Chambliss won an additional year after arguing in the court that he missed a portion of a season due to a medical issue. A Mississippi judge found that the NCAA ignored its own medical evidence and acted in bad faith. Chambliss wasn't asking for an exception to the rule. He was asking the NCAA to follow them. Curry, the judge in this case, his order makes no such finding. It cites breach of contract and hardship and grants Sorsby eligibility in part so he can make an informed decision about his NFL future, and does it all of it in simply 4 pages. One case corrected institutional failure. The other, this one, suspended the sport's most sacred integrity rule because a player had a draft deadline. In the middle of the crosshairs is billionaire Cody Campbell, the chair of Texas Tech Board of Regents and a deep-pocketed supporter. His approach over the last several years has been both holistic and contradictory. He wants to save college sports. Argue all you want about the details, but there are well-intentioned ideas within the Protect College Sports Act, and that he has helped fund with his own money. At the same time, he is funding record-breaking rosters at Texas Tech to ensure the program isn't left behind when the sport's next iteration takes shape and the media rights deals expire over the next 5 to 10 years. And finally, in the article, the timing couldn't be more critical. The bill he helped push is moving through committee and could soon reach the Senate floor. The Big Ten and the SEC already opposed it. Compound those philosophical disagreements with Tech supporter Sorsby, and the Red Raiders may soon find themselves an enemy of the state. Brandon Marcello finishes his article this way. The fallout across college athletics could be immense. I'm willing to bet on it. It has become the chalk. In other words, Brandon Marcello, CBS Sports, fantastic article. Now that was earlier today, okay? But we've got more breaking news. Ross Dellinger, hold on. We've got a very kind super chat from the purple and gold, Ryan Brooks. Greg's so cold. I want him to pick Texas Tech every game so they will go winless. Whoops. That was the wrong one. Here we go. Ryan Brooks. If I pick Texas Tech to cover the spread in every game, they're going to go 12-0, and every game is going to be a rout. Because I'm not going to be Greg the Cold. I am going to be Greg the Gold. Greg the Gold. Thank you, Ryan Brooks. Appreciate it so very much. Mohr Simmons, $2 holler. Appreciate it, sir. Greg, Cody Campbell not saving college football. I would agree. Thank you for the $2 holler, Mohr Simmons. I appreciate it so very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's get to it. I will get to your comments and super chats after this article. This came out about 30 minutes before we came on live. Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports. While Big 12 leaders consider sanctions, Texas Tech reps have notified the Big 12 Conference that any sanction will be met with legal action. Late August, just 2 weeks before kickoff to the 2025 season, the Big 12 athletic directors gathered to discuss a festering issues, tortillas. Well, it's a lot different now. It's not about tortillas. Almost a year later, the new issue has sent the Big 12 school executives into even more passionate fury. Same school, different issue. The Texas court decision granting eligibility to Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby, despite acknowledging that he gambled on his own team, is at the center of an ongoing debate within a conference whose membership is considering another measure to penalize the Red Raiders. But while university leaders debate exercising the league bylaws to sanction the school, another potential legal battle has emerged. Representatives of Texas Tech have notified the conference officials that any Big 12 sanction would be met with another courtroom challenge, according to those familiar with the discussions. In fact, school representatives are actively exploring potential legal action not only against the league itself, but individual conference universities whose officials claim they would not play the Red Raiders. If you want to go to battle with Texas Tech, get ready. We're going to battle, said one person familiar with the situation. Holy smokes. Conference and Texas Tech officials have mostly remained quiet publicly, although Kirby Colcutt released a statement on Wednesday reinforcing that the school was not a party to the lawsuit and did not file it, nor did they fund it. Our role has been to support his recovery, not engineer his eligibility, Colcutt said in a statement. But according to those familiar with the situation, that could soon change if the league board of presidents and chancellors sanctions the school through a provision in the conference bylaws. Something seriously under consideration. It's under consideration, ladies and gentlemen. It is under consideration. Commissioner Brett Yormark is scheduled later this week to meet with members of his executive committee, presidents at Kansas, Kansas State, and BYU. We've already heard what athletic director of Kansas State said. I think it's safe to assume the leadership of Kansas State, the president, the chancellor, agrees with the athletic director. I'm assuming that BYU probably agrees with Kansas State, but may use different language than the athletic director that Kansas State used. Maybe Texas Tech has got a friend in Kansas. I doubt it. The members of the executive committee, presidents Kansas, Kansas State, BYU, and Brett Yormark, is expected next week to gather the full board where options and legal risks will be presented. That is next week. Section 3 of the league's bylaws give presidents the ability to sanction member schools by a supermajority, 12 votes. A supermajority vote of those not involved in the issue, or 12 of the 15 schools, including Texas Tech. League presidents can sanction a member for a variety of reasons, including for engaging in any action or course or conduct materially adverse to the best interest of the conference taken as a whole. The action is at the discretion of the presidents, who are empowered to determine whether any sanctions are appropriate, the type and extent the bylaws state. A variety of sanctions are possible, including deeming Tech ineligible for conference championship game if the school plays Sorsby, or requiring the program to forfeit games in which he plays. The school is gearing up to respond with another legal challenge, perhaps even obtaining a similar court injunction against the conference from enforcing its bylaws as Sorsby did against the NCAA. There are legal avenues for the Big 12 as well, including filing action in a federal court requesting that Sorsby be prohibited from playing outside the state of Texas in consideration of the state court ruling on Monday. Could the conference pursue something similar in the Interstate Commerce Clause? It prevents states from passing laws, in this case, a court ruling that interferes with commerce across different states. A Big 12 sanction against Texas Tech gives Sorsby a case to show imminent harm in any second injunction hearing the school signed in the spring to a one-year multi-million-dollar contract. Time is of the essence. The deadline for entering the NFL supplemental draft is June 22nd. The NCAA has signaled that it will appeal the Sorsby ruling, a document that is expected to be filed next week. However, despite expedited process, any appeal ruling may come during or after the football season. It's a bleeping mess. Deadpan another person with knowledge of the discussions. Meanwhile, Big 12 school administrators have launched a campaign against the school's intention to play Sorsby, a highly prized transfer portal acquisition with a year-long sports wagering addiction that Tech didn't learn about until the NCAA opened an investigation this spring. For many within the conference, that doesn't matter. What is integrity if every time you go and play somebody, they can bet on their own team? Asked Kansas State Athletic Director Gene Taylor, who in a story on Monday Yahoo Sports, perhaps the most jarring quote about the court decision, it's total bleeping, bull bleeping, and revealed that the Big 12 university leaders previously held conversations about not playing the school if Sorsby was granted his injunction. Utah Athletic Director Mark Harlan was left disheartened by the decision. Colorado athletic director, UCF athletic director, all of them saying basically the same thing. The frustration from the league's athletic directors materialized in a closed-door meeting Tuesday when officials made their public comments even more clear. They do not believe Sorsby should play a down for Texas Tech. The topic has reached even Capitol Hill, where Wednesday, Senator Ted Cruz, one of the authors of the latest college sports legislation, weighed in on the matter. The judicial decision was mind-blowing. It's hard to find something that illustrates more powerfully how broken the system is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Texas Tech has already come out and threatened the Big 12, saying if you take us to court, we're going to take you to court, we're going to battle this thing, and that Sorsby should have the right to play. What do you think the Big 12's actions should be? Should they take action? I think they have to. They have to for a couple of different reasons. One, the 15 Big 12 presidents are knocking on the door of Brett Yormark and they're demanding action. This can poison the locker rooms of the other teams. How are you going to be able to tell your student athletes, do not bet on college football? And then that player might be thinking to themselves, it's only going to cost me 2 games if I get caught. They do not want this to metastasize. They need to stop this from happening. And they do. And every game that Sorsby plays in against a Big 12 opponent, forget about the playoffs, for example, just for now, everything's going to be questioned. Every throw, every incomplete pass, every interception. The Big 12 does not want to render this regular season a joke. This is a very important season for the Big 12. Big 12 has to take action. They have to take action. But let me know what you think, guys. I believe, and that's why I put up at the title of the screen here, stop Texas Tech from the playoffs. They cannot play in the Big 12 championship game. Use bylaw 3.6, allowing conference autonomy for discipline. Prohibitions on appearances in post-season events. Let me know if I'm being too harsh, too lenient. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Helmer Henderson, thank you for the $5 holler super chat. Drake Lindsay apparently has violated multiple laws as a leader of the Minnesota football team. Should he sit out a couple of games? I have talked about this quite a lot. I talked about it when it first happened. And I was much harder on Drake Lindsay than anybody else in the chat room. And anybody who was there on the live show will attest to that. So I think Drake Lindsay should sit out 1 game. Underage drinking with a false ID. You cannot do that as a quarterback of a Power 4 football program. He has come out and apologized. He's come out in front of the camera. He just did it again. PJ Fleck talked about it. They've had their conversations. He's going to get punished. PJ Fleck says he's already been punished, but he won't go through the details. We do not know how many games he'll be suspended. But Drake Lindsay has taken accountability for it. He was not behind the wheel of a car. He did not drive that evening. He was not even in the bar. He was outside, supposedly with a drink in his hand. He turns 21 this August, so hopefully Drake Lindsay, again, something that a lot of kids do, but you should not. If you're the quarterback, you cannot do it. You're getting paid a lot of money being the quarterback of Minnesota. You cannot do it. But I've talked about this at least 10 different times on the show. And it doesn't matter what Sorsby did or whatever this quarterback did, that quarterback did. Drake Lindsay made a mistake, and he's going to pay the consequences. But I don't think it should be. I think it should be one game. All right, but thank you so much for the $5 holler. I do appreciate it, sir. We've got Irish Ryan, the Irishman, super chat, $5 holler. Greg is so cold. His thermostat doesn't use numbers. It just says Greg. Wow. That's terrible. That is absolutely terrible. Irishman Ryan. Unbelievable. Thank you for the $5 holler. Get your last shots in now. June 10th. You're running out of time because it's going to be Greg the Gold just a couple of months from now. So Irishman Ryan, all of you who have been influenced by that evil Buckeye, get your last shots in now. Thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so very much. We've got Eldon Gully, and we have got an I do declare. We've got an I do declare. We've got a prediction. Wow. I do declare that Arkansas Razorback conquers Rice-Eccles Stadium just like they did under Lavelle Edwards. The Arkansas Razorback go on the road and they beat Utah. Holy smokes. That is going to be number, what is the number? That is going to be number 80. That is our 80th declaration, a bold statement, a prediction. That's going to be a 4-pointer or a 5-pointer on a scale from 1 to 5. 1 most likely, 5 least likely. I'm going to have to give that evaluation of 4 to 5. I don't think Arkansas is going to win that game. But that's what this I do declare competition is all about. You make a bold statement. If you get it right, you get points. If you get it wrong, you get minus points. The winner at the end of the championship game, the national championship game, is going to be declared the I do declare college football champion, world champion. We don't do regional titles here. We're not a mid-card, PATC. This is world championship, I do declare. And we've got prediction number 80 in the book. Moen is not a genius. Moen is a Mohr. I'm not going to say it. Ryan Brooks, at this point, would you consider Greg the Cold chats for charity? Moen is a genius. Absolutely not. No, if you're going to give me an elbow, if you're going to falsely accuse me of being Greg the Cooler this year, during my redemption tour of 2026, you're going to have to pay the piper, Ryan Brooks. And all of you are going to be embarrassed. That's the thing that I'm looking for. Ryan Brooks, Irish Ryan, every one of you. Evil Badger, Mama Doug Clemson Tiger got in the act today, and especially that evil Buckeye Moen. All of you are going to be embarrassed when I come out of the chute with about a 75% winning percentage against the spread after week 3. That's where I'm going to be sitting. That is exactly where I'm going to be sitting. All right, let's get to your phone calls. You know what? Before we get to your phone calls, and I'm very interested to hear what you think the Big 12 should do. You know what I think? If Sorsby plays, the Red Raiders are not able to play in the Big 12 championship game. And I think that is in their bylaw. I think they're going to be able to do that. I think the courts, if it's in a certain location, I think the Big 12 will be backed up on that. And again, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Again, when you call, the floor is yours. You can talk about whatever you want. But I am going to ask you the question. You don't have to answer it, but I'm going to ask you the question. If you call in, what do you think the Big 12 should do? What do you think the Big 12 should do? Number 79 was my I do declare, Greg. Did I put the wrong name in there? What am I doing? Oh, that was you. What am I doing? Hold on. I do declare that I am the original Minnesota moron. Oh, that's right. My apologies. God. Well, in that case, Preston, I'm going to move those evaluation points from 3 to 5. Okay, I apologize, Preston. I do apologize. Apologize very much. My goodness. That's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. Maybe I was paid under the table, Preston. Maybe I was paid under the table. Okay. Before we get to your phone calls and your comments and your super chats. Ooh, okay, that's a great one. Daniel Gorby. Daniel Gorby says, do a listener poll. I'm going to do that. That is a great one. I'm going to do a poll. But we have to, just give me a couple of minutes. We have to talk college football here. And then we're going to get back into the Big 12. What action should they take? I promise you. And we'll get to your super chats, your comments, and your phone calls. But we have to break this down, ladies and gentlemen. The Missouri Tigers, the college football PATC. Let's take a couple of minutes talking about the Tigers. This is team number 47. 47 on our spotlight. We've already been 47 teams. The dates are on the left side. If you missed your favorite team in our spotlight, go to the live show with that date, and you'll be able to see the spotlight we did for your particular favorite team. Today is the Missouri Tigers. Again, I was big on Missouri last year. They finished 8-5. Not what I was expecting. I thought they were going to make the playoffs. Remember, I had Missouri as the 11th seed in the college football playoffs last year. But, again, that was Greg the Cooler making those picks. Austin Simmons. The lefty, the transfer from Ole Miss. He's played 17 games in his career. Over 1,000-yard passing. 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 59.8 completion percentage, 149.5 quarterback rating. He's played some. He was talented enough for Lane Kiffin to have him as QB1 at the beginning of the season. He got nicked up. Here comes Trinidad Chambliss, and the rest is history. Austin Simmons transferred to Missouri. Interesting. I don't know how he's going to do it at Missouri. Not the most accurate passer that I've seen. A lot of his pass completions, really short stuff. Again, Lane Kiffin ran that at Ole Miss. But the running backs at Missouri, Ahmed Hardy, the best running back in college football, but again, tragic news. He gets shot in the thigh. We do not know what his health is. It sounds like he's working out. He sounds like he's going to be okay, with his everyday life. That seems to be the reports. But what about his football career? What about 2026? I really don't know if we have gotten the word. Really. But the good thing for Missouri is they have got an outstanding backup running back, RB2 Jamal Roberts. Absolutely brilliant last year. And again, hold on a second. What's going on? Hold on. There we go. It'd be nice if I had the right picture of Jamal Roberts. 753 yards rushing. 6.1 average per rush. 6 rushing touchdowns. Absolutely brilliant. So again, we all want to see Ahmed Hardy play. We all want to see the great running back Ahmed Hardy come back. Big comeback for the young man. But if he can't, Missouri does have a great running back right behind him. So we had to put Jamal Roberts into the spotlight. Very good tight end. Been with Missouri 3 years. He's played 35, 36, 37, 38 some games. 31 receptions, 250 yards receiving, 8.2 average. Missouri has all brand new wide receivers. They did bring an Ole Miss receiver, Caden Lee, who came with Austin Simmons. They're going to be relying on Brett Norfleet and that running game this year at Mizzou. The linebacker, Nicholas Rodriguez. They lost a lot in defense. Missouri Tigers defense was the best defense they've had since 2015. I did not know that. But they lost pretty much everybody. So, Nicholas Rodriguez, 27 solo tackles, 62 combination, 4 tackle for losses, 1.5 sacks. The leader of the young defense, the Missouri Tigers schedule. It is very difficult, in my opinion. They play Georgia and Texas back-to-back in November. They finish with Oklahoma. They've got Texas A&M, and I think they're going to play very good Florida Gators on October 3rd. Missouri Tigers, where do you have them in the SEC? Where do you have them finishing in the Southeastern Conference? In PATC, way too early predictions, as we have showed you, we've got them number 11. Last year, we had the Tigers in the playoffs. We missed. This year, I'm going to have Missouri fall back a couple of spots, more than a couple of spots. They're going to fall back a couple of steps, along with Tennessee. Missouri Tigers at number 11. Let me know how wrong I got it once again, but I got Missouri at number 11. Kenneth Maynard has them 6-6. That's about right. I think that is about right. All right. Now let's get to your phone calls, your comments, your super chats. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Let me know, what do you think the Big 12 should do? Am I being too over the top saying that if Sorsby play, the Big 12 should tell Texas Tech, if Sorsby plays it down, you're not going to be eligible to play in the Big 12 championship game. Is that too much? Is that not enough? Let me know. 763-260-1333. Chris Vanini. Cody Campbell says Texas Tech would take legal action if schools or conferences decide not to play the Red Raiders. Guess what? That's collusion. That's antitrust violation. So have fun with that one, guys. He's told Dan Dakich. From the New York Times. I love when the Big Ten or Kansas State athletic director comes out and says, we've all gotten together and we've talked about how we're not going to play Tech. Because guess what? That's collusion, Campbell said. Don't at me with Dan Cage's show. That's an antitrust violation, so have fun with that one, guys. You can't do that. Asked by Dakich if Texas Tech would pursue legal action for that, or if college football playoff issued some sort of ban, Campbell replied 100%. They can't collude together and say we're not going to allow you to play. That's an antitrust violation. Kansas State Athletic Director Gene Taylor told Yahoo Sports some Big 12 schools later at conversations. Okay, we know about the rest. Let me open up the phone lines again. 763-260-1333. I do want to thank Texas Tech. Texas Tech Joey McGuire says Brendan Sorsby returning for week 3 against Houston after his suspension is a stretch. He's recovering from an addiction. I've sat down with this young man multiple times, and what he's going through and what he's been through is serious. So, Joey McGuire is saying that coming back for week 3 is a stretch. It may not even happen. There doesn't seem to be any realization about the integrity of the game. Like, Sorsby is a young man who's got a horrible addiction, and you want to support him, but yet you want to put him out there. What about the other teams? What about the Big 12 Conference? What about sending a message that it's okay if you get caught, if you're remorseful, that you can go and play, and it's only going to cost you 2 games?
From
Rod Nix.
Rod Nix, thanks for you for calling. Mr. Seminole, the floor is yours.
What's going on, Greg? How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. It's crazy, man. This is This is out of control. This is well, I want to hear your thoughts. Go ahead, sir.
It's absolutely out of control, and I'm going to keep it short and sweet so that others can call in. They should absolutely suspend the young man for a year. His head coach just told you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Okay? Nobody interacts with players more, outside of parents probably, than a head coach. And the head coach just told the world that this guy has serious issues. So there are red flags right there that even though you've done this little 35-day program and Mr. Campbell thinks that everything's good to go, there are problems here. So if the head coach has no say-so over the welfare of his players, then that team and that organization should just be shut down. They don't care. The welfare of the player, everything that Mr. Campbell has called himself selling, everything that Ms. Cantrell and Senator Cruz, frauds that they are pushing, is out the window. The head coach has spoken. He should be heard. Commissioner Yormark should issue a statement right now. Call his bluff. Let him go to court. Let's see what he does. Call his bluff right now, and let's end this crap, and let's get some sense of stability and sanity back into this game that we love. You're doing a great job with your coverage, Greg. I'm 100% with you. This crap's got to stop somewhere.
Yeah.
The federal government can't resolve it. We don't know if silos are going to solve it. God knows what's going to solve it.
Yeah.
This travesty that Cody Campbell is pushing and this BS that Congress is trying to ram down our throats, get rid of all that junk.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Have a good one, my brother. We'll keep listening and keep doing the great work that you're doing, and give Mom a hug for us.
I will. Thank you, Rod Nix. Appreciate it.
All right, brother.
Yeah, especially that last part. Thank you, sir.
Out here.
You're beautiful. Rod Nix, the Seminole, coming on in here. Beautiful, beautiful call. Nice to hear from him again.
Call from
Rock and Rant.
Rock and Rant, the floor is yours. How you doing, sir?
I'm fine, but something's wrong in Lubbock, man.
I mean, they're really being aggressive. They're not on the back foot. They're on the front foot. They're not going to back down. We're gonna have an explosion. It depends on how big the explosion is, but it's going to explode. Go ahead.
Well, the question, I'm a little bit confused. I mean, I'm not confused, or people might think I'm always confused, but so we have Kirby Hocutt's statement, right? That first one.
Yeah.
Where it's clear, it's a lot of political speak and people making assumptions, and maybe he's got some valid points there. So I'm not even going to poo-poo the whole statement, other than I don't know whether to take it at face value, political optics, a combination thereof, right? But he clearly left a path in there to say, hey, everybody out there, we may or may not, even though the NCAA can't do anything, we may or may not feel like his mental health is there to have him play this season, game 3, whatever it might be, right? Beyond the suspension, don't assume you know anything. He gave themselves a path there. Joey McGuire, in the thing you just read, it was the first time I saw that, also gives this path, right? Perhaps it's an exit route for them to do it gracefully. Or who knows, maybe Brendan Sorsby is seeing all of this and what's coming down on the school and decides to go supplemental. Like, we have no idea. But then you get the leaks to the press before the one you just got about how they will go, they're getting their lawyers ready.
Yeah.
If anybody tries to do anything, which is interesting because, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know it's not enforced yet, but all the Big 12 schools basically agreed to give the control to the CSC to regulate them.
Yeah.
If and when everybody else signed off on it. So Texas Tech, in one hand, has signed off on the documentation, agreeing to abide by rules and be policed by them.
Yeah.
Which you would think would mean that they would be cool to do that for their own conference if the Big 12 had to go to a silo, right? Because they're okay doing. Yet here they're basically saying, or somebody's alluding to, that they're not okay with that, right?
Yeah.
If the Big 12 were to impose it, they would not be okay with it. And you're sitting there going, wow, that's interesting. They're saying one thing on the face of it and another thing. And then it's interesting because it comes out that the possible lawyer is Kessler, who admittedly is one of the best lawyers in college football and sports in general, right, for getting the outcomes, which is why we're having shows about this. And then it makes you go, well, that certainly doesn't dispute the notion that even if not directly connected, it's kind of interesting that Texas Tech lawyer might be Sorsby's lawyer, right? Do they just get to know him and like him now because of what he did for Sorsby? Or maybe there was more facilitating, if not officially. Right? And I don't know. It's interesting that that's the lawyer that they would choose. He's clearly one of the best, but there are other ones who are among the best. There are even others who are part of the House settlement and others that are not Kessler. That makes it even more interesting. And then you see Cody's statement that you just showed in the article. And now I'm wondering, the previous leak that Texas Tech is getting all their options ready and going and prepared to sue, that's coming from somebody. Now, it's a big question. If that's coming from off-the-record conversation of Kirby Hocutt or Joey McGuire to a reporter, then they're talking out of both sides. But what if Kirby Hocutt and Joey McGuire or anybody else connected with Texas Tech is not the source of that first leak, and it's all of the things saying they're getting ready to sue are all Cody Campbell, both off the record and now on the record. So I don't know what he's doing. I don't get what he's doing.
This is the only way I can answer. I obviously I don't have the answers, but when do you do your live show with Mohr Sunday night again?
Yes.
Give Mohr a call, and Mohr will tell you a story about Texas Tech that happened a couple of years ago. There is a certain person at the university who leaks like a sieve.
Okay.
Yeah. And how do I say this? So Mohr will give you information, and I'm just going to go ahead and guess. It's only a guess that this person can't help but leak stuff, and the guy might be a moron. Okay, so there's issues at Texas Tech even before Cody Campbell came onto the scene. Again, Red Raider fans, I love you. Great, I love, blah, 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 football, university. I love watching the games. But you had a leadership problem before Cody Campbell came on. And so that person is probably stepping on messages and everything. And the Big 12 was well aware of this guy a couple of years ago. Yeah, that's about as far as I can go. Mohr will fill you in on some stories, okay?
Will do.
I can't do it here, obviously.
Understood.
So yeah, it's a mess, man. It's worse. God, this is bad. This is bad. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step over you. Before you showed the last two articles on the screen, I would have called in and you asked the question of what should the Big 12 do or what will they do? And I would have said, hey, the Big 12 should do this, but I don't think they'll have the guts to do it because of just expectations of where it might lead. Now I think basically Cody Campbell is saying you're all a bunch of cucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got all the power.
Yeah.
He's using wording that is really familiar, and I won't go there, right? Because I'll just do that here, and we'll try to keep this in one space, right? It sounds really familiar, in a different form.
Yeah.
Now they have almost no choice but to go to the wall. And the thing I think Texas Tech needs to be careful of, and I don't even know if I mean Texas Tech, because this isn't directed at the fans or the Red Raiders, and I still think they would make the Big 12 championship game if they're eligible for it, with or without Brendan Sorsby. And I think they've done a great job in the portal, so it's not even about them. Texas Tech is in a through Cody Campbell and whatever's coming out here, and you can't do anything to us, we're untouchable, only we can decide what happens in college football and the Big 12 or whatever it might be, go ahead and try to sue us. Well, guess what? There are other jurisdictions. What is going to force, another out-of-conference school to show up for their game? Cool, we'll pay it. You're not the only person with money. You want to sue us for what? For more than the value of that game? Triplicate because of antitrust? People will be like, screw it, fine. Your program will still die if nobody plays you, right? Where is Texas Tech going to go? They want to play the strongman or Cody Campbell, or maybe Cody Campbell, allegedly. I don't know, right? But if somebody wants to go down that road, where exactly is Texas Tech going to go? Yeah. They're not going to the Big Ten and the SEC.
It takes a village.
They're not going to go to the ACC.
It takes a village.
They got nowhere to. They have that program does not have an escape route to another conference if they burn every bridge that is better than where they are. So I would be really careful as you put out these threats out there. That one, you might be again. It's like law of unintended consequences, part 3 in this. You put the threats out, you might actually force people to have to go balls to the wall, or else look completely powerless. And ultimately, where does Texas Tech go if it went nuclear?
And you said, now that we went through the last couple of articles, some reporting. Now you think that the Big 12 might have to act because of what the words that Cody Campbell's using, the aggressiveness and all that. What about the Big 10 and the SEC and how they think about the Big 12 if they don't do something, right?
Right.
An
association.
Go ahead.
Yeah, an associate. He's going to say antitrust. No, the Big 10 is an association. It's an entity. It's a single entity. Yeah. Right? They're allowed to say, I don't want to play in the playground with you. Yeah. They can make that independent decision.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an antitrust lawyer. By the way, neither is Cody Campbell. He's a super smart man, built $1 billion business. I have not done that. Go ahead. Because they'll just bring it into federal court eventually, right? It's not going to get you're not going to get to stay when you go after a public entity, a university, the Big Ten based in Illinois, wherever they're in. They have Big Ten has no ground in Texas, right? There's not one school in there. SEC has some. Good luck getting to federal court and thinking you're going to get the same thing that you might have gotten in Lubbock. And I'm not saying that was a judge that was biased one way or the other, but you got the ruling you wanted, and that you might get in the appeals circuit in Texas, and that you might even get in the Supreme Court of Texas. You start going outside. The Big 12, I think, is a little bit more, but I don't know. It was great if you got a real sports lawyer on or what have you, because I know the Big 12's offices are in Texas, but probably a different district. But I think that they're going down a road that even 2 days ago I thought they would not go this far in scorched earth, right? Like that's where it just feels like. Yeah. I don't know whether it's just one person speaking because he has a power and a platform, or if it's representative of what the university is trying to do. It's mind-boggling, and I feel for their fans, and I feel for the team, and I feel for the players that are getting hooked up in it. And I got nothing bad about Brendan Sorsby as a person. I hope he gets out of this disease and this problem and gets a shot at the NFL, and if he gets suspended for a year like other players have, but he shouldn't play another damn down of college football.
No. Yeah. Very well said, Rockin' Matt. I think Cody Campbell, for all of his intelligence and his success, I think he missed out on the college football's peek around the corner. One of the top rules in conference realignment is relationships. Relationships matter. And I cannot imagine a university having the worst relationship with schools that they would probably want to associate themselves with at a later date. So,
right. And it wasn't this way 2 weeks ago, right? I mean, Cody had some things around him, and
Yeah.
But before the statements came out supporting trying to the Brendan Sorsby going to get the injunction from Texas Tech, I think that was there might have been some simmering things with Cody being associated, right? And some people were hating on NIL, which is not fair. God bless the program for getting the money support to try to achieve.
Yeah.
But then has his turn in the government side and the law side change. But I think until Texas Tech and through other entities spoke about hoping essentially the last golden rule to not break in college football to get overturned by a court on behalf of a player, I don't know that those lines were severed to that degree. I would imagine, don't know, but just reading through all of the tea leaves, both from outward words and complete and total silence in the backroom chatter, like, do they have a friend in college football right now as a program, which is unfortunate if that's not the case anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I just said a lot, but I don't even really know what to say.
Yeah.
In some ways, it's sort of mind-boggling.
It is. It is. In every hour, it gets worse.
Or better. I mean,
or better.
Way, like the story gets better, but the information is bad.
Like the Big 12's back is up against the wall. So.
Yeah, I'll hang up, but I guess my question for you that you can answer is, what do you think happens to the Big 12 if they do not go, balls to the wall, so to speak? And I'll hear your question and hear what everybody else has to say.
Yeah, I appreciate it, sir.
Thanks, man.
My simple answer to that is it gives more fuel to the Big Ten and SEC fanatics that want to break away.
Call from.
I did not get the name. Who is this calling?
Larry Andrew.
Larry Andrick, thank you for calling, sir. The floor is yours. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. But I saw one of your podcast people wrote on there that it wasn't murder and it wasn't beating somebody up real bad or anything like that. Well, it's worse than murder. When you murder somebody... Hey, when you murder you murder somebody, they take you and you go to jail. You're the one that pays the penalty for this. You are the only one. They take you to jail. You go to court, whatever. In this particular instance, if he doesn't get punished, the whole sport gets punished.
Yes.
This here is going to ruin college football forever if he plays football.
Yeah.
There's no round about it. Every college football player in the country is going to say, well, he got away with it. Why can't I? This has been the rule since I was born.
Yeah.
Since I started college football.
Yeah.
Everybody knows if you gamble on college football, you can't play college football, basketball, baseball, or anything else. If you gamble on college sports, you are done. This would be the worst example of anything that anybody has ever done for college sports. And I'm sorry, but if this happens, college sports are done. And I just wanted to call and say that. You're right.
I appreciate the call, Larry. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Beautiful
Bye-bye.
call.
Bye.
That statement that Larry Andrick was talking about, that was from the head coach of the Texas Tech Red Raider football team, Joey McGuire. Joey McGuire was basically trying to defend Sorsby. Hold on.
Call from.
Pick six.
Who's this calling?
Hey, Greg, this is pick six.
Pick six?
Yeah.
All right, can you hold on one moment, please? I appreciate you calling. What Joey McGuire is basically saying, he's defending Sorsby, saying it's not like he beat anybody, he did not kill anybody, which is fine, which is true. What Sorsby did in gambling is not, it's, of course, it's not like murdering somebody or taking physical harm to somebody. why people are up in arms is if he actually plays this season as someone who's coming off a gambling addiction, hopefully coming off a gambling addiction, and he bet on the sport that he played. Playing a guy who knowingly bet on the sport is something that we have not ventured into those waters. We do not want to venture into those waters. And I think that is kind of missing in the debate from the Red Raiders side. But go ahead, Pick Six. Let me know how wrong I got it once again. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. So I was actually just thinking about trying to get into Cody Campbell's head and just trying to understand, because I think everybody, as you could see from the reaction, everyone agrees, maybe outside of Lubbock, that this is a bright red line that shouldn't be crossed. And so when I think about, if I'm getting into Cody Campbell's head, because he's a strategic guy. He's been kind of architecting this for a long time. And I think we could all agree that his goal is not about college football as a whole, college sports, or even the Big 12. It's about solidifying Texas Tech as a power program for the future, for the sustainable future. So I think that with that in mind, I think he'd probably have three goals. The first would be to get Texas Tech into a P2, but I think he probably knows that's unlikely, that they're likely not a fit for the Big Ten, and the SEC already has Texas and Texas A&M. So then I think he's looking at two other ways. One is have the government change the system, and I think that's where the Cody Campbell plan and ultimately what is the Protect College Sports Act. It's to fundamentally change the system to get Texas Tech, back to a level that he wants it to be for the future. And I think the third is for Texas Tech to win a college football national championship. Because when I look back to all of the college football national championships back 35 years to 1991, every single one of them is either in the Big Ten or the SEC outside of Clemson, Florida State, and Miami, all three of which are pretty high on the candidate list for either the Big Ten or the SEC. So I'm just, I'm thinking, is he that desperate that where he feels like maybe number two, the government thing, he's not sure if that will happen, that he's willing to put all his chips in the table to say, forget the morals or forget the backlash. If Texas Tech can win a National Football College Championship, there's no way, anyone can deny our place in the future. So, just wanted to get your thoughts because that was kind of what was going through my head.
Getting into the mind of Cody Campbell. Now, unfortunately, when you are basically asking that question to the universe, right? You're asking it to me, yourself, everybody else. Get into the mind. What is he thinking, right? Unfortunately, Pick Six, as you put that out in the universe, I just read the most ridiculous thing from Cody Campbell that I've read thus far. Can I read it to you, sir?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to read it to everybody in the chat. This is a live show. Got to keep your head on a swivel. I have no idea. I like to pretend that I'm a lawyer. I like to pretend I'm a judge. I like to pretend that I'm really good at predicting games against the spread. I like to pretend that I'm a singer. I'm not even going to try to pretend what the heck this is. I am going to read it to you all. Buckle up. Brace for impact. Texas Tech booster, chairman of the board, Cody Campbell, to Dan Dakich on why the Big 12 athletic directors and others are coming at Texas Tech because of Brendan Sorsby ordeal. Of course, the athletic directors in the Big 12 are saying crazy things. And saying that they don't want to play us well. They don't want to play us because they know he's good and they don't want us to be as competitive. They want to have a better chance at winning the conference, so they're inherently conflicted in their opinion. Holy smokes, this guy is absolutely delusional. So that answers your question. He's talking about the Big 12 athletic directors being conflicted in their opinion. What about you, Cody Campbell? You actually are supporting somebody to play the game of football that bet on this sport, and it's the rule of the NCAA. Texas Tech and every other school has always supported this. You have always told your student athletes that if you bet on the sport, you're going to lose your eligibility. He says this about the Big 12 athletic directors? Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Go ahead, sir. You let me know now what you think is inside the brain of Cody Campbell.
Yeah, I mean, I still think I think he's pushing his chips in regardless of anything to try to win that college football national championship. Maybe secondary goal is try to get that Protect College Sports Act passed. But I think he's willing to risk anything to try to do that to put, keep Texas Tech in that conversation of a power program. I don't know that that's the right move. I think there, creates a lot of potential damage and downstream effects. So, whether he's thinking clearly or not. And I do wonder we did hear from the athletic director, who is now backed, moving forward with this, but I do wonder what the president and the rest of the university leadership thinks because of the actual reputational damage it could have for Texas Tech. So I'm wondering if all the stakeholders are actually aligned or if they're just kind of more being led by Cody Campbell in this.
I'll take that off the air. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the call. Thank you. Call
Thanks,
again, my man.
Yep.
Beautiful. By the way, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to our channel, ring the notification bell, smash the like button if you like our content. Hold on one second.
Call from
Moen.
Moen, can you hold on for a moment?
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. My only answer to that is I really don't have an answer to that. Pick 6. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it. No Berman, welcome to Early Peak membership. You are hereby officially knighted, cloak and dagger. Welcome to the family again. Noel Berman, as a family member, you can go to our episodes of library of episodes. Go check out Early Peak Cloak and Dagger episodes for members only. We dropped one, I think, 2 days ago. Episode 67. The day before that, episode 66. Thank you, Noel Berman, for becoming part of the family, for your generosity, for showing up. I appreciate it, sir. Moen, Mr. Buckeye, that last comment from Cody Campbell. I mean, this guy does not have any brakes. And that might work in the oil in field, gas, whatever you do. But that ain't going to work when it comes to being in the conference. Go ahead, sir.
Could you bring up that Joey McGuire quote again?
About
he didn't murder anybody or beat anybody. Or,
I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Let's see.
If you can't, that's fine, Greg. But my point is, Brendan Sorsby engaged in a criminal conspiracy involving wire fraud, racketeering, illegal bookmaking. These are what are called RICO predicates. This is what organized crime is prosecuted on. So it's not like some kid just made a bet. No, this kid went through several hoops, jumped through several hoops, had several people involved in this conspiracy,
placing bets for him, knowing he legally wasn't allowed to bet due to the location he was in, due to the age, due to everything, and he was sending money across state lines to do this. He was sending money to Iowa. He was sending money to Ohio. Even when he got to Texas Tech, he was wiring money for people to place bets for him. He created a criminal conspiracy. There are people serving life sentences in federal prison for this right now. I'm very interested to see what the FBI plans to do, or if Cody Campbell has enough influence to stop them from pressing charges on him. Because they say, well, he didn't beat anybody, didn't murder anybody. Well, what about the innocent people he lured into his criminal conspiracy? They could potentially get indicted under a RICO predicate and serve 25 years to life.
Yeah, because they help him avoid the rules, right? That he knew that were in place, that he was not able to bet on college sports.
Right, and just even having them place a bet, he made them they're illegal bookmakers at that point.
Yeah.
They're essentially bookies. So now they've got a bookmark, it's unbelievable to me that people don't realize the kid is guilty of a crime beyond betting on his own team.
Yeah.
He committed federal crimes here. Does Cody Campbell have enough money to buy lawyers to get all these people that are involved in it off? Or does he have enough money to stop the Federal Bureau of Investigation from pursuing this? Does he have enough influence in Washington to do that? We already know he's bought 2 senators. It's not beyond the realm for him to just buy out the FBI and say, don't prosecute this. Even though, there's several people in the New York area who will tell you that this should be prosecuted. It's just unbelievable to me that people are acting, yeah, I get it. He didn't beat anybody. He didn't murder anybody. He's still a criminal. He's still a criminal, guys. He still broke the law. And he didn't only break the law, he broke it several times with several people. It's engaging in a criminal conspiracy.
And again, I'm gonna throw out a little bit of God dang, they're putting Sorsby is not the victim, right? But he's about
Absolutely
to be
not.
But he's about to be a victim in a way of, boy, they're loading up on this young man. They are putting so much pressure on this young man. He's going to be the first college football player to everybody had known that bet on his own sport, on his own school, and he's going to be the first guy out there that everybody know that did this. And everybody knows he's getting paid $5 million, and everybody knows that the Red Raiders are risking so much. And this guy has an addiction. All this guy should be doing is trying to get better and get back into life a year from now, 2 years from now. Live your life. Try to get back into sports. Try to get back in the NFL. But they are putting everything on this young man. I think that is, besides what you're doing to the Big 12, what you're doing to the sport, that is the worst, I think. I think that is the ultimate worst thing that Cody and the people at Texas Tech are doing right now.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing, Greg. Huge shout out. There are Texas Tech fans that are pushing back against this.
Yes.
There are lots of Texas Tech fans saying, no, this isn't right. We shouldn't play them. Kick them off the team, et cetera, et cetera. Now, are these fans going to be heard? Probably not, because Cody Campbell's got $3 billion and they don't.
Yeah.
So they're probably not going to be heard. But there are a lot of good Texas Tech fans out there who are doing the morally upstanding thing and saying, we are not for this? Are there some bad fans out there going, oh, yeah, there's bad fans too.
Yeah.
Happens in everything. But I have been absolutely floored with the amount of good Texas Tech fans that have come out against this. And I hate what's going to happen. This hurts the Texas Tech fan more than anybody else.
Yeah.
Whatever happens. So I feel really sorry for the fans of Texas Tech, but I do want to give a huge shout out to everybody, Texas Tech fan, who has come out and said the right thing. I think that's very important. I think you got to make your feelings known publicly. Contact the president of Texas Tech. Contact your board of regents. Let them know how you feel, and maybe they can reach some kind of situation where they kind of back off from the edge. But I don't know. Cody Campbell's got his moneyed interests in there so deep, I don't know anymore. I mean, he's basically the president, the AD, everything at Texas Tech. So who knows? But thanks for taking my call, Greg. Have a great show.
You got it, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Beautiful call, Mohr. You know, I have said that quite a few times here since the story just went viral. I've gotten DMs from Red Raider fans saying, "Yeah, this ain't good. We should not be doing this. Why are we risking all of this over one player, over one season? It makes no sense." Now, Cody Campbell, obviously he's a very competitive dude. He's a big success. And he does love control, right? And he's trying to control this situation for Lubbock. Man, and I think they had a little bit of an opportunity to take a step back. After today, that opportunity no longer exists because of all the comments that have been made.
From
Morris Simmons.
Morris Simmons, can you hold on for just one moment, please?
Yes.
I do appreciate it so very much for your patience. We've got a super chat just came in, purple and gold. Christopher Hura. Surely Texas Tech knew all this blowback was inevitable. Yeah, but I think they live in a bubble. I think they live in a little bit of a bubble. But yes, they would have to know. And I don't think they care. It doesn't look like they care. Thank you, Christopher Hooter. Appreciate the $2 holler. Helmer Henderson, $2 holler. How many interceptions would Drake Lindsay throw? He threw 18 touchdowns last year, 6 interceptions as a freshman quarterback with no running game. This year, the Gophers are going to have a decent running game, not a great running game. We have better wide receivers. I'm going to guess between 6 and 8, between 25 and 30 touchdowns. Those are my predictions. Mohr Simmons, thank you for your patience. The floor is yours. Thank you, Hemmer Henderson, for your generosity. Christopher Hooter. Go ahead, Mr. Seminole.
Yes, Greg. One thing I'd like to add to this conversation we're having with Texas Tech today is when you as somebody spoke on here pertaining to the threats that's coming out of Lubbock, Texas, not only towards the Big 12, but also to the other conferences and schools that will not play Texas Tech. Mm-hmm. One thing I would say is these other conferences, their presidents and ADs need to be very careful in what they say publicly, and also what they put in text publicly, because Cody and his attorneys will be going over it with a fine-tooth comb. They already done fired one volley already to everybody, letting them know that they are watching everything. So my thing is this: these other conferences and school presidents and ADs, hey, be mindful of what you say. And if you're going to do something, do it. Just don't advertise it. Just go ahead and do what you're going to do, so that he won't have nothing to come back, to the schools or the conferences that whatever they're going to do. See, this is like a chess game now, and everybody, this ain't checkers now. This is a chess game, and he's playing to win, and he don't care what the cost is, what the damage is. He don't care about what's going to be the outcome of Texas Tech or the Big 12. So the Big 12, yes, they got to do something. They just can't sit there because they're being held hostage by Cody Campbell in a way, because he threatened them. Hey, you're going to have to fight fire with fire. And that's the only thing I'm saying about this whole situation, that they should find a way to remove Texas Tech from the conference. It won't be this year, but that will have to be something next year, that you got to get Texas Tech out of that conference, because if not, more things will come. This ain't going to end well.
Yeah. Mohr
right.
Simmons. It's even if they get through this story still intact, what is the next thing that's going to happen?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I appreciate it, sir.
Okay.
Beautiful call, Mr. Mohr Simmons. Excellent. Mr. Seminole. And this is what I talked about earlier, not today, but the day before. Stuart Mandel is asking, the Big 12 and Brett Yormark can't let threat of lawsuits scare them from taking action against Texas Tech. You have to try something or risk alienating 15 of your 16 schools. And Dennis Dodd brought up this example. I brought up this example. See Tony Petitti when he suspended Jim Harbaugh after the Connor Stallions broke. Then after that, Michigan got upset. They threatened to appeal. They threatened to sue, and they did not do anything. Michigan just stood down. The Big 12 is going to have to act because they got to protect the interests of the other 15 schools. They got to act because they know that the Big 10 and the SEC are threatening breakaways and all this stuff, and it's getting very scary out there for Big 12 schools. Big 12 has to act, and I think they will sometime next week. I cannot imagine it being this week. It took Tony Petitti some time. It's got to take you've got to, your legal counsel, you got to look at the bylaws, you got to have support in your conference. Mayor McCheese, we've got ourselves a super chat. Thank you so very much. Good show on a difficult subject. Thank you, Mayor McCheese. I appreciate your support, sir. Thank you for the $5 holiday, all your generosity. Yeah, I do want to thank everybody who has donated to this program today. Heartbreak 25, Mohr After Dark, Mama Duck, Clemson Tiger, Eva Badger, Ghost of Replica, Marcus Williams, Troy, the Pirate Gator Maynard, thank you so very much. Ryan Brooks, Mohr Simmons, Helmer Henderson, Irish Ryan, Elvon Gully, Ryan Brooks, Preston from Greensboro, Noel Berman, Christopher Hooter, Helmer Henderson, Mayor McCheese, and Helmer Henderson $5 holler, super chat. What good is it appealing to the same group coming after you? I don't quite know what you mean by that, Helmer Henderson. I apologize. Are you talking about the Texas Tech perspective or the Big 12 perspective? I don't know if anybody's trying to appeal with anybody here, to be honest with you. I don't think the Big 12 is spending any time. They probably did at first, but I don't think they're even trying to encourage Texas Tech. Michigan versus NCAA. What good is appealing to the same group? Well, because Michigan could have taken it to the court. But they did not. They just took their punishment. That's all. They just took their punishment. But they could have taken it to the courts, and they did not. They threatened to take it to the courts, and they did not. And their comment at the end of it all said, "As a Big Ten member, yada yada yada. We don't agree, yada yada yada, but we're not going to go forward with this." And a lot of it has been, they took the punishment. It was a fine, blah blah blah, and everybody has moved on. But if the Big 12 does something to Cody Campbell and Texas Tech, is the Red Raiders going to be able to move on? That's the question. I don't think so. But anyways, thank you for the $5 holler, Helmer Henderson. I appreciate it. Hold on one second. Okay. We've been on the air for 2 hours and 12 minutes. I think we're gonna lock it up. We still have 140 people watching our program. I very much appreciate all you joining us on a June 10th. Big, massive news today. I happen to believe that the Big 12 must use League Bylaw 3.6, allowing the conference autonomy for discipline. Ban Texas Tech from the playoffs, from the Big 12 championship game, if Sorsby plays it down. And Jungle Moose, I love putting people who disagree, love putting their comments up. It is deeply hypocritical to destroy a player's career over a product that the NCAA actively profits from through multi-billion-dollar data deals. I don't think it's hypocritical at all. Sorry, Jungle Moose, it's not. Because there is a restriction in gambling on your sport if you play the game. If you are an announcer, if you are a Fox announcer announcing a Big Ten football game, you cannot bet on that football game or you be fired. There's restrictions. Not everything is equal, ladies and gentlemen. You can gamble on the game if you're over 21. Other people can gamble on the game. But if you're a football player, you cannot gamble on football. And every football player knows that. They are told that. And every school has voted for the rule. I love you, Jungle Moose. Thank you for coming on in. Thank you for putting out a counter comment. But it's not hypocritical. It's very transparent that a player cannot play if he bet on it. I can have a beer right now. I can drink a beer in this studio. Someone driving down the road can't be drinking and driving. They have restrictions because they're driving. A football player has a restriction, they cannot gamble on that sport. I don't have that restriction, even though I should because I'm Greg the Cooler. I am going to be Greg the Gold next year, though. So I don't see any, there's nothing hypocritical about it at all. Thank you, Mama Duck, for coming on in. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jared Jones. Well, it's illegal in Minnesota, actually. But anyways. All right. I appreciate it. Antoine Johnson, thank you very much. We did the Missouri Tigers spotlight. The Missouri Tigers, Austin Simmons, Ahmed Hardy, Jamal Roberts, Brett Nortfleet, Nicolas Rodriguez. We talked about Missouri. We talked about the Big 12. We talked about the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Buckle up, brace for impact. If there's any breaking news, we'll cover it later tonight on a second live show. It could happen. Beyond 8 o'clock tonight, we could be doing another live show. Who knows? A lot of stuff is going on. The Big 12 and Texas Tech. The Big 12 needs to stand up and deliver some type of ruling on Texas Tech. I think it should be you're not able to play the Big 12 championship game if Sorsby plays it down. Keep putting down comments in the comment section below this live video. I read them all even after the live show is over. We'll see you tomorrow or later tonight, depending on what is going on in college football. Until then, from all of us at PATC, to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. And as always, God, family, golden, gold.